If you're a tech writer, a builder, or a knowledge entrepreneur, you know that last line of your article is everything. It's your final, crucial handshake with the reader. So let's make that handshake count. We're going to build a simple but really powerful framework for crafting the perfect call to action every single time.
Okay, so check this out. On the left, you've got this passive, totally forgettable sign-off, and on the right, a specific, super intriguing invitation that actually starts a conversation. One's a dead end, the other is a doorway. Which one do you want to be writing? I think the answer is pretty obvious.
To build that doorway right, we first have to kind of reframe how we think about this whole thing. A call to action, or CTA, isn't just some marketing trick to get clicks or follows. No, it's a fundamental part of the value you're offering.
And that brings us right back to this core idea. Your CTA is an open door. Seriously, think of it like that. It's a generous offer. You've just shared all this valuable insight, and now you're inviting your reader to step through that door to continue the journey with you. It's all about connection, not a demand.
So what makes a CTA truly great? Well, it really just boils down to these three things. It's got to align with what your audience is thinking and needing right in that moment. It has to reflect your own goals, what you're trying to achieve. And this is the most important one, it has to extend your value, not just stroke your ego.
All right, now for the really good stuff. We're about to walk through a clear, super actionable blueprint that you can use to build these powerful CTAs systematically. The goal is for this to become second nature for you.
And here it is, the 5-step framework we're going to follow. We'll start with the why, defining your intent, and then the who, matching it to your reader. From there, we'll actually build the invitation, anchoring it in value and making it frictionless. And finally, we'll look at how to tailor it perfectly to whatever platform you're on.
So let's dive into those first 2 steps of our blueprint, which, honestly, are all about strategy. Before you even think about writing a single word, you have to match your goals to your reader's mindset. It all begins and it all ends with that.
First things first, you got to define your own intent. What's your main goal with this piece of content? Are you trying to guide your audience, maybe show them the next logical step? Are you hoping to collaborate on something? Do you need to validate a new idea you're kicking around? Or is the main goal just to amplify your message and get more eyeballs on it? Picking one of these really helps you focus.
Now, what's really cool is how this connects directly to your reader's attention level. Think about it. A skimmer, someone who's just passing by, is most likely to do something simple, like amplify your message with a quick repost. An engaged learner, though, they actually want you to guide them to more knowledge. And your loyalists, man, these are the people who are truly invested. They're your prime candidates to collaborate with or to help you validate that next big idea.
Okay, so you've defined your archetype, you know your reader's attention level, now we can actually craft the invitation itself. And the absolute key here is to make it feel less like an ask and more like a totally natural, logical next step for them. This quote right here, it just nails it. A great CTA should never, ever feel tacked on at the end. It should feel like the natural conclusion to the value you've just delivered. It's the so what or the what's next that your reader is probably already thinking in their head.
Let's make this really concrete. Say you just wrote a deep dive on Rust. A great CTA would be to invite other developers to share their own experiences. See that? It's a collaborate CTA. Or if you just explored a cool new concept, like a knowledge graph tool, your CTA could be a validate type, asking if people would be willing to test it out. The connection is direct and it's obvious. This brings us to step 4 of our framework, and this is a real game changer. Make it incredibly easy to act. I love this concept of activation energy from science. It's the minimum energy needed to kickstart a reaction. Your job as the writer is to make that minimum as low as humanly possible. So how do you actually do that? You give them dead, simple, low-friction actions. DM me an emoji is infinitely easier than asking them to write me a thoughtful email. Asking for a comment with their favorite tool is way easier than asking for a big, long opinion piece. A save or a repost, that's just one click. Reduce the effort, and I promise you, you will increase the response.
All right, now we're at the final step, and this is where it all comes together. This is where you go from just writing good CTAs to actually building a strategic, repeatable system that works for you over the long haul. This is pro-level thinking.
This matrix is basically your cheat sheet. The best action doesn't just depend on your goal, but also on the platform's culture, right? So for raw reach on X, you want to repost. For deep engagement on LinkedIn, a thoughtful comment is way better. For validation on your own blog, getting that email subscribe is key. You can literally map your intent right to the platform's built-in behaviors.
You can kind of think of this entire framework as a micro user experience flow. It's a simple mental model that ties everything together. It starts with the input. That's the knowledge you just gave them. That creates a desire for what's next. And your CTA? That's simply the clear, easy action that satisfies that desire. When these three things line up, your CTA will feel absolutely inevitable.
To wrap it all up, here are just a few final pro tips for you. Always be specific. Don't just say engage, say comment with your answer. Use emojis or unique keywords. They're not just for fun. They make it super easy for you to track who's responding. And finally, build a system. Maybe this month is all about validation, and next month is all about amplification. Rotate your CTAs to keep your content and your goals dynamic and fresh.
And that brings us to the end. Your content is like a room filled with valuable ideas. Your CTA, that's the next door out of that room. So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. What door will your next piece of content open for your reader?